I'm gonna be a happy idiot and struggle for the legal tender. Well, the elves take aim and lay their claim to the heart and the soul of the spender, and believe in whatever may lie in those things that money can buy. Oh, true love could have been a contender. Are you there? Say a prayer for the pretender who started out so young and strong, only to surrender. Say a prayer for the pretender. Are you there for the pretender? Say a prayer for the pretender. Are you there for the pretender? Are you there for the pretender?
Anti-Afro Svengalis, you heard me correctly as I stated in the last video. Dumpsey is not qualified to be doing what he's doing. He made claims in that, what do you call it, nightmare of a, whatever it was, gathering of people to misinform people who have gathered. That is extremely irresponsible. Rather than tell you what Dumpsey said, I'm going to let you hear specifically what I'm addressing in this video. Stay tuned and I will return.
I've done presentations like this before. Now, it's funny to me, when I did other presentations like this, I've done presentations on paraphilic behavior. I've done presentations on personality disorders. I've done presentations on bipolar disorder. I've done presentations on all types of mental health related issues. And this is the first time that I've ever gotten pushback on something that I'm an expert in. I have never received the pushback when I talked about the other issues. Matter of fact, nobody challenged or said anything or wanted to know. Now for this particular topic, now people want to second guess my expertise. I find that offensive, but I welcome it though. It's okay. If that's what you want to think, you're more than happy to think that. We can move forward. I want you all to know, for those that claim I don't know what I'm doing, who do you think these people send their clients to when they go into court to assess their mental stability? They go to me. I have to do assessments, and they have to do therapy. You know, I don't go to court as much as I used to, but you know what I used to, I'm gonna say between 2012 and 2017, I spent a lot of time going to court testifying based on clinical notes, assessment. And if my clinical notes and assessment shows that someone is a predator or they have a pathology, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be convicted.
Oh God, let me just bring this down so I can decompress before I continue. Let's start with this. Look on the screen. I want to make it clear. The vast majority of providers in the mental health field, he kept saying psychological services. That's not an accurate description, especially when we're talking about people involved in the justice system that is considered forensic in nature. Treatment, assessment, and most important, monitoring. Let's get this clear. So using the term psychological, it's not even relevant. He's not even using the proper terms. We have different disciplines. And you see here in the state of Texas, people with master's degree far outweigh psychologists. Psychologists have a unique role in the forensic field. Yes, there are psychologists who provide treatment, but for the most part, they provide the forensic assessment for the court. The role of the therapist is to provide treatment, give progress reports, give updates, and unfortunately, testifying in court. And I hate to say the word testifying because I do not like testifying in court. I like to be a spectator. I like to watch and listen to trials. I like to research appeals, but I do not like testifying. So whenever I decide to take a case, and of course, I don't have 100% cases in the justice system because I don't want to spend all day, every day in a courtroom. I try to pick the cases that appear, because I don't have a crystal ball, to be less likely to have to go into court again. Sometimes you just can't help it. But I want to tell you how Dumpsey was untruthful. He says he has treated this population. He has provided services to this population. And he couched it in terms of he's doing an assessment that will somehow or not result in a conviction. That's completely and totally bullshit. That is not the role of a therapist in the forensic field. We provide the treatment. And there are cases where you provided care years ago, and then the person may be back in the justice system, and here come the public defender or their attorneys trying to get records. But we come on when the court has decided the person will enter treatment. We don't decide whether or not they have a classification during the assessment stage to decide their disposition. Now, when we get underway with our care, we accordingly will do an assessment and a diagnosis, and it does not have to match with what anyone else says. It's going to be close, but it doesn't have to be identical. We do our own assessment. So Dumpsey, he's telling you total and complete lies. And let me give you verifiable proof that Dumpsey is lying to you. You need to go to the bottom and pull up the list of licensed providers in the state of Texas who can work with populations with these issues. And I'm talking about behavior that has been assessed to be sexually offending and classification as or sexually disordered offenders. Those different types of categories. This is a very, very specialized field, and you need to have a special license to provide these services. If you do that without the license, you are going to be in very serious trouble. I don't believe Dumpsey. Absolutely do not. And I can guarantee you, if I get a hold of the list in 2000 and whatever he said he was doing this, he wouldn't be on it. You cannot go into court and testify regarding any sort of treatment and care as an expert unless you are an expert. An expert would mean you have a specific license in this field. Now, I know a great deal about offenders, their habits, their behaviors, because I work with victims. Not only that, part of the training over time includes identifying people with these behaviors, identifying them, recognizing what they do, knowing the research as it applies to them, knowing the legal process that applies to them. But there's one thing missing that I don't have, and I never pursued because I was not interested in doing this. I don't treat this population. I don't have the qualifications and I don't have the skills to treat people classified as sexual offenders, sexually disordered, or related behaviors. Now, some people do have issues with the justice system, but it's not in this category. My partner does this type of work, not me. I work primarily with victims. You need to have a special license in Texas. You need one here in California, and I'm damn sure in all 50 states. You need to be in a position to be able to collaborate with multiple agencies, including the court and probation and parole. And it's a high level of responsibility. But those who do it, it's like second nature when you learn it. Dumpsey, thinking about him, listening to how he speaks, do you get the impression that he has any colleagues that he consults with? Does he ever talk about any colleagues or professionals? No. Guess what's disturbing about another part of what Dumpsey was talking about? His reference point would be people in this, quote, sector, as he stated. And then he started talking about people in other sectors on YouTube. Your reference point is YouTube? People on YouTube? That's your reference point? People, come on. What are my reference points when I talk about these issues? When I give information, because I don't talk about treatment issues. When I'm giving referrals, letting people know this is where you can go to address this type of issue. Here are some national resources. Exactly. I don't go to WebMD. These are not appropriate resources. There are several research bodies out here in the forensic field that are known to be acceptable sources in addition to other research-based organizations. I'm not going to get into that right now. That's another video. But if you're using a reference point, people on YouTube, something's going on. He's talking about people, content creators. That is not a reference source. It is not. Quit using people on YouTube, content creators, as a reference source. That is totally inappropriate. Dumpsey does not have a license to do either one of those things. As a matter of fact, he's trying to get certified as a DV treatment provider. He's in the probationary stage. And I'm telling you, the disturbing things that I don't even want to go there. The gender things he was talking about, that's going to be another video. But I'm coming on here to let you know, you can go down and find for yourself. Dumpsey is not on this list. And what I would also like for you to do, take the opportunity to read over a job description of someone who was qualified to provide services to this population. It doesn't matter if you're doing it in private practice or you're associated with an agency, it's irrelevant. What's relevant is that you're qualified. And I tell you, they're going to tear you limb from limb if you try anything like going into a court or trying to force your way into a court case. You need to be certified by the court to provide this service. You just can't be a therapist providing services to justice-involved individuals. You need to have special certifications and contracts and licenses. It's very irresponsible for Dumpsey to come on and make these claims. And it's further perplexing that he would get angry because people don't agree with him. Who says that people have to agree with Dumpsey when it comes to these issues? What he's trying to do, he has a license, right? And he uses that license in the most exploitive and weaponizing manner. I'm here to make it very clear to all of you, just because someone has a license in the mental health field doesn't mean you have to accept anything that the person says. I mean, that's opposite of what we do. Totally opposite. You get to make your decisions about your life. So what Dumpsey is getting angry about is like, you don't have a say as a client. I'm the professional. I have the license. That's bullshit. You cannot help your client unless the client gives you the information. to help them with. They have the information that you need to provide them with the service. It is not a situation where you are performing a crude experiment on clients where they're just sitting there inert. It's a collaborative process. And with this special population, it involves almost, I'd say 90% group work. If there are other issues that need to be addressed in individual therapy, okay, fine. But the vast majority of the work is group because it involves that confrontation element. And no, confrontation is not a dirty word in this business. You have to put it all out there. It's a very specialized treatment process with specialized training and a specialized license. And Dumpsey doesn't have that. Am I saying it's a sin? No, but you can't claim you have something that you don't have. Pure and simple, people. I have other things I need to address regarding what Dumpsey said, the gender thing. Oh, my gosh. I just want to say this about the gender thing. It wasn't just women, sisters, who were upset by this whole situation. There were men who were outraged. Listen, I'm reaffirming you have a right to give your opinion. Please do so accordingly. Don't let anybody intimidate you out of speaking exactly what you want to say about this situation or any situation. But you must be well informed. You must not be subject to trickery, and people should not be trying to force you into believing what they feel, what they think should be happening because they have a license. Umar Johnson tried this garbage, and he didn't even have a license. It really does smack of Umar Johnson that I'm going to beat you over the head with my credentials and my license, and you're a bunch of dummies. You don't know anything. You must listen to me. False. And I've just proven to you the credibility is not there. Dumpsey does not have the qualifications as he directly told you that he did. There is more to come. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.